So here I am, day 9 of knitting 3 tops in 30 days. So essentially by the end of July. And, they used to tell me in the video world that the J months were the slowest months, January, June, and July. And I thought, let's give people something to look forward to in July. So this is the 30th day in July, and today is day 9, which is easy. You always know the date by the number of day knitting that I post. So here's something I never realized before, and that is I asked AI how long it would take to knit up the summer sole top. And I thought, every once in a while I think, maybe I can stump AI with the question. Like maybe it's going to come back and say, like Alexa does sometimes, it might come back and say, I'm sorry, I can't help you with that. Or I'm sorry, I don't know that one. But AI never does that. It always comes back with something. So, and I'm really appreciating it. So I said, how long would it take to knit the summer sole top? Much to my surprise, it was familiar with the pattern, and it said that if you're knitting 1 to 2 hours a day, which I am at least, so knitting 1 to 2 hours a day is not too hard for even beginner knitters, I would think. So that's an average knitting time. And knitting 1 to 2 hours a day, you can finish the summer sole top in about a week, it says. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's possible. Now, if you've been following along, you know that I've pulled out my summer sole top at least a couple of times, and I'm doing my own basic tee. And one day I will go back to the summer sole top. So it's just kind of neat to know that you can put that information in an AI, artificial intelligence unit, whatever one you're using, and it'll give you some suggestions and ideas and do the calculations for you, which is nice. So here I am. I have about 20 inches. Actually 21 inches. So I just have a couple more inches and I'm done the first panel. This is the back, and then I will cast on my stitches, do another rectangle panel, and I'll join the two at the shoulders, and if needed, because I'm not sure if I'm going to need a gusset on the side or not, but I may just do it anyway and make it a loose fitting top where I'm going to crochet a gusset to put on the sides. So that's my idea, and if you follow along, you'll get to see the results. Because one thing about me is I am determined. I do like a challenge. I didn't quite know that when I was a kid, but I know that as an adult. 70 years old, you finally figure out some things about yourself. Now, AI also said that a focused knitter might get the summer sole top done over a weekend. Wow, what a marathon that would be. And the thing is, like, what would be the hurry, But overall, it's just nice to know that it wouldn't take that long to knit something up. And of course, that is if you don't make a mistake and need to frog it once or twice, as I did. The information that you get from AI is still interesting. So I did put in KIKA's love letter top and asked how long it would take to do that one. And it said that an experienced knitter, the estimated time to complete the top knitting 1 or 2 hours a week, I think it's a reasonable average. It would take 3 to 4 weeks to knit it. For an intermediate knitter, again knitting 1 or 2 hours a day, it would be about 2 to 3 weeks. And then it said an experienced knitter could do it in 7 to 10 days. I bet you that's how long it took KIKA to do it. So, and a very experienced knitter, knitting 4 hours a day, could do it in 3 to 5 days. So again, it's not about, let's hurry up and knit this. It's just sometimes it's nice to know when the end is coming, especially for me where I have pulled this apart at least twice. And I think I finally got it figured out. So it's just nice to know that, for example, I could have it done maybe by the beginning of next week, which is the 3rd week in July. So I'm getting there, and I won't tell you about my bubble gum. I'm working on the top, but I won't show it to you right now because I pulled that one up so many times. I'm finding out of the 3 tops, the bubble gum is gone quickly. I've never had to pull it out once. The green top, which used to be Summer Soul, is not called that anymore, but now it's just my casual green. It's taking a bit longer. And the white top, which I'm using KIKA's pattern as an inspiration, I'm not following it exactly. It's 3rd in the running, so it might not make it. It might not make it by the end of July, but there's a lot of things that that factor the influence of how long it's going to take you to do something. It's, you know, your experience, whether you've picked the right yarn or not, and the pattern that you choose, of course. So that's why I do like the basic tee, which I put in previous videos. You just know what your measurements are. For example, I know that this had to be so many stitches to make it the width I need, and it needs to be knit up at least from the shoulder to the bottom of my garment, about 23 inches. So I just keep knitting that up that way and sewing it together. So once you get some of those basics down, you can just knit almost anything you want with whatever yarn you're using. And then I would suggest doing a gauge. I did do a gauge with this one, but even doing a gauge, and I've heard other knitters say this, it's not always 100% accurate. So I did do a gauge with this. I know how many stitches per inch, and I know how many stitches per row, or how many rows I need to get the 4 inches. And I think that I'm still coming up short with this. That's why I'm going to do this little gusset on the side. But we'll see how it all progresses. So follow along and you'll get to see how things are going. But if it's any consolation at all, and if you have the means, type in whatever pattern you're following, if you're following a pattern, and ask AI, how long is it going to take? How long would it take to knit the Summer Soul top? How long would it take to knit KIKA's Love Letter? How long would it take to knit whatever, Patton's hat? So cheers, talk to you later.